Well, hello and welcome to another Rider Cam TV video, and today, you guessed it, I'm on the bike. Now, this is the first time that I've been on the bike for 5 weeks since all this lockdown and all of that jazz, and I had to go to work in a different location today, so I thought I'd enjoy riding my bike to work and from work. And I had to pop in and get some milk as well, so all good stuff. But it got me thinking when I was riding that the roads are so quiet in some places, and then there are lots and lots of people in other places, and it's really quite weird being out on a road where normally us bikers would be chomping at the bit because there's cars in the way, and suddenly there's no cars in the way. And I looked down at my speedo earlier on and noticed that I was doing a little bit over the speed limit. And whilst everybody that rides and drives, nobody that rides and drives can say that they've not been speeding at some point. I mean, it's just an impossibility, isn't it? We've all done it. But how easy is it to speed? You know, and I was really quite shocked when I looked down. I was only doing about 5-10 miles over the speed limit, just riding along, minding my own business. Then I suddenly realised that actually, without the cars in the way, it causes quite an issue, because there's nothing really to gauge the speed on other than the speedo. And if you're just riding along sensibly and enjoying it, actually when you look down you suddenly think, flipping heck, I'm over the speed limit. And it's really easy to do. And then the other thing that I thought while I was riding is that you're coming down, because I've taken a different way to go home. I thought I'm not going to go all on the main road. I'm going to have a bit of a nice ride home. There's something in all of us bikers to say we've got to get on the road, we've got to get out on the bike, and it's so difficult, isn't it? Because that's all we want to do. You've got to scratch that itch almost, haven't you, to get out on your bike. But it's really difficult to do that at the moment and justify why you're doing it. And you're riding along and there's people looking at you and you think, I know you're thinking you're just out on your bike for a ride, and yes I am, because I'm riding from work to home, but I wish that was the case, that I was out for a day riding and enjoying the bike and enjoying the empty roads, but it's just not the case. And I was riding, you know, we're about quarter of the way through of my ride, because I was working in a different location today, so I had quite a way to ride to get to work. So I took a slightly different route, some back roads, some main roads, and I was really quite surprised at the amount of people that are out and about, not only in their cars, but the amount of fitness people that are about now, the amount of people that are out riding their bikes. And I'm not condoning that at all. It's good to see people out riding their bikes and enjoying getting fit and enjoying a bit of fresh air, but do you know what, they're all in the wrong place, and it's really difficult to get that into your head, because you're riding along thinking these roads will be completely empty. So no matter what I do on the bike, no matter how fast I go, and I have been trying to stick to the speed limits as best as I can, I'm really paying attention to the speedo, because it's so difficult to see and to gauge what speed you're doing, because there is no traffic around. But then when there is a lovely corner or a lovely bend, in the back of my head, I've been caught out once today, been going around that bend. Normally that bend you would have no issue, because that bend is a lovely bend, it's an open sweeping bend, but all of a sudden there's people taking their daily exercise, and there was a guy on the right hand side of the road with a walking frame, and quite an old guy, and obviously somebody else from his household on the opposite side of the road, but right on a blind corner, so there was kind of nowhere to go. So luckily I was in the right gear at the right time and all that jazz. Doesn't always happen, but in the right gear at the right time, and I was able to slow down really safely and just pass them really easily. But it just brought home to me actually that we've all got this mindset that when we go out riding we want to get around these cars as safely as possible, and that's great, and we all do. But where everything should be completely empty, and you'd expect to be the only person on the road riding or the only person on the road driving, actually at the least possible time you expect it, you're not the only person, and it's really quite a dangerous situation to be in. I almost found myself getting a little bit complacent, thinking, wow, you know, these roads are empty, I'm the only one on them. But actually that was quite a wake-up call to tell me, actually, you're not the only one on this road, there are other people on the road, and they're where you least expect them. And the amount of cyclists that I've seen has been unbelievable. They're everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I've never seen so many cyclists in this country. In other countries they're everywhere, but not over here. And it's really quite odd. You know, I'm on the A30 coming home, and there's a car in the lay-by, there's a couple of cars going past, but look, you know, this is, you know, kind of middle of the day, and this would be chocker. There'd be people everywhere. So in a roundabout way, it really is quite empty, but when you least expect it, it's not. And that really, it didn't shake me, but it really brought home to me that people are out and about, people are going about their essential travel, their exercise, all the other stuff. I'm sure there's some people that are flouting it a little bit and going out just because they want to go out for a drive or a walk and meeting friends and family or whatever they're doing, but I'm not going to judge them. That's down to them to decide what they should be doing as to what they've been told, just hoping that they're doing what's right. And then you get to a corner and suddenly there's loads and loads of people there. It's really weird, really weird. And the mindset of this road is totally empty. So as far as I can see back in my wing mirrors, as far as I can see forward, there is nobody on this road at all apart from me. So that brings several different challenges I found. One is that 70 miles an hour now seems really slow because there's no other cars to compare what speed I'm going. And I know I'm doing 70 because the speedo says I'm doing 70. 70 is the speed limit. But there's nobody creeping past, there's nobody that's going slower, there's nobody that I'm going to have to think about overtaking. So it's kind of a really strange place to be. Now we all dream, certainly Mark and I, or certainly I dream about having empty roads all the time when you're on your bike, because it gives you much more freedom, you can get about a little bit quicker, there's not people in the way. But in actual fact, I found that it's reduced some of my concentration because there aren't those hazards, or my mindset is that, or deep in my head is telling me that these roads are empty, they should be empty, there shouldn't be anybody on there, therefore there shouldn't be any hazards. But in actual fact, I found that there are many more hazards, because the hazards that I've got are, I could quite easily do 120 up here all day long. Nobody'd know. But what happens if something happened? What happened if something broke on the bike? What happened if I lost control and came off? I'm going to have to try and call someone. What happens if nobody comes along to find me? You know, all those things go through your head, don't they? It'd be so easy to just ram the throttle back and go as fast as you can and really have a great time. But it's the implications of what could go wrong, and I don't always like looking at what could be and what could go wrong. Let's look at the positive. But you know, bikers unfortunately are one of the groups that end up getting more injured than many other people in accidents on the road, and I don't want to be one of those statistics. I've also found that I'm having to really keep my concentration level as high as possible to try and keep my riding properly, because you know that there's nobody, or you kind of think there's going to be nobody around, so you're not necessarily looking for those hazards that you might have been looking for before. That's certainly what I've found. But all of that stuff aside, it's been the best ride to work and the best ride home, because even though those bits are there, it's kind of scratched my itch. I've been out on the bike, I've done it for a specific reason because I had to go to work this morning, and now on the way home, thankfully, I've enjoyed this morning at work, and Now I'm enjoying my ride home to de-stress before I get home. It's been quite a challenging morning, so I can de-stress before I get home and take my pride and joy out on the road and enjoy just a little bit of being out on the road where the traffic is greatly reduced to the extent that it's brought those other issues out. So, you know, I think we all get complacent when we're riding. We all think we're the best riders in the world. You know, we all love riding. We all like getting things right. Sometimes things go wrong, and I make so many mistakes and always strive to get better. And I think to myself, the moment that I think that I'm the best rider out there or there's nothing to learn, then I should stop riding and park the bike up and sell it, because you know, it's such a dangerous mindset to be in. But look at this, the A30. This is the A30 between Chiverton roundabout and Carland Cross roundabout, and we'd probably count the amount of cars that we've seen on one hand. And for a weekday in the morning, well, 11:30 in the morning, this is just unheard of. So people are taking notice. There's a lot of people out there that I think seem to be getting up on their high horse when they see people out and about. You know, what are they doing? Why are they out there? Social distancing, get home, you shouldn't be out. And really and truly, none of us know what's happening in anybody else's life, or why they're on the road, or where they're going, or where they've been. We've just got to pull together. But I tell you what, when I've been riding around, the one thing that I've seen is the amount of messages of hope, the messages of togetherness, and the NHS rainbows and clap for the NHS signs everywhere. It's really quite astounding that not only does it bring out some selfish people when things start kicking off and suddenly there's no toilet roll. Don't know why they're buying toilet roll, but suddenly there's no toilet roll. All the way through to you see neighbourhoods actually starting to talk to the people that live next to them, rather than just being somebody who's a neighbour that you've never spoken to, and asking if they need help and donating money where they perhaps haven't got money to keep themselves going with all this furlough. And you know, if you're self-employed, perhaps you're in quite a sticky position, but people are actually pulling together and trying to help each other out at these hard times. And I think that's quite a special thing to remember. And certainly for me, you know, there's a fox. Where would you see foxes or animals like that in the middle of the day, in a weekday, on a main road, arterial route through Cornwall? Just wouldn't happen. So it's almost like Mother Nature and the animals are starting to take ownership of the places and their area around them back. And I've been reflecting while I've been going to and fro from work, because for the last 5 weeks all I've done, like many other people, is just gone to work, gone home, and that's been it. I haven't really done anything else. And I've been brushing up on my Spanish, and you know, occupying my time with other things. And you know, me and my partner have been watching movies and all that sort of stuff, and I've done a bit of cooking. So all those things that I wouldn't necessarily have done had I have just had the same old busy life that I've had before. Work, hardly any play, more work. You know, I expect all of you can relate to that sort of thing. But it's really made me reflect on what I actually need. I didn't think it would I didn't think this vlog would get so philosophical, but it really has made me reflect on what I need and what I want and how different those things are. I really want a newer car. I really want to change my bike. Not because this one's got anything bad in it, but I don't know, it would be different. I really want to buy some clothes, I really want to buy this, I really want to update my computer. You know, all those silly little things that are massive things when priorities are different. And suddenly, and of course I'm not going to change my bike, so please don't put down in the comments what you're going to get, because I'm going to keep this one. But you start to reflect on actually the things you need and the things you want are two hugely different things. And the things I've got are the things that I want. I've got a nice place, I've got a great partner, I've got money coming in, fortunately, I've got a good job, I've got a bit of money, and I haven't been spending money because we haven't been going out to get coffee and, you know, all the needless things that you end up buying, like takeaways and stuff. You know, and that presents another problem where people that are making takeaway food and stuff are struggling because people aren't buying it. But actually I found myself feeling a little bit healthier. My bank balance is a little bit healthier, which is great, and I'm not gloating because there's a lot of people far, far worse off than I am. There's a lot of people far, far better off than I am as well, but you know, it's a catch-22, isn't it? I don't want to brag, but it's been okay. And then you look at exactly what's going on, and actually, do you need what you've wanted in your head? Do you need it? Do you really need it? So I think not only have I had an amazing ride today, it's made me really think about the roads, the learning that I've put into place, and the constant learning and the advanced learning that I've been trying to aspire to be a better rider all the time, and how I never thought that empty roads and not seeing people out on the road would be anything other than an absolute joy, not realising that it would give me a lot of learning points as well. You know, I'm quite blown away by that, to be honest. But yeah, what a strange world we live in. And I think probably things after COVID-19 and coronavirus and everything else that's going on, I think it's going to be a different world after. Certainly going to be a different world money-wise. I think we're going to get taxed to the hill, but that's another story. But it's going to be very, very different. But I thought I'd just chat to you about what I was thinking out on the bike, out on the road, on this beautiful weekday day, halfway through the day on the way home, and my thoughts about how empty the roads are, what it's made me think about, and how much I've enjoyed riding on the road, and how much I've not enjoyed not having any cars to overtake, because that's where I've been practicing a lot of my overtake techniques and all of that sort of stuff. And to be able to practice that, you need cars on the road, and when there's no cars on the road, you can't practice that sort of stuff, and it's really, really quite strange. Really strange. But what a wonderful place we live in. I'm very, very fortunate to live in a county where there are some glorious roads to go on, even if they are the A30 on the way home. But I have got the ability to sneak off onto a bit of a curvy road to get home as well, which is what I'm going to do in a minute, and enjoy being out on the bike in some beautiful weather as well, which is something that we haven't had for a long, long time. So whatever you're doing, whether you're at home, whether you're commuting to and from work to get home, whether you're going out for essential trips or whether you're going out for other reasons that obviously you can justify, and I'm no saint. I'm not going to preach to anybody what they should be doing. There's too many people doing that at the moment. However, whatever you're doing, stay safe, look after each other, and if you do go out, just take it steady, take it easy, try and think about all the things that perhaps I've been thinking about today, especially if you're out riding, because those things will crop up on you when you least expect it, and that's what I found today, and it really did make me think a little bit harder about what I was doing, and perhaps some of the complacency that started to appear in my head. So, like I say, whatever you're doing, whether you're out, whether you're working, to all of our key workers and emergency workers, my colleagues in different emergency services and the same one that I'm in, keep doing what you're doing. It is really appreciated by everybody around, and particularly the blood bikers. I think the blood bikers very often get overlooked a lot of the time, but certainly you know, people are going out clapping for the NHS, which is amazing. They're doing amazing things. So are all the key workers that are, you know, still delivering everything, still protecting us, still coming out to make sure that we're all safe. But the blood bikers, let's give them a clap as well. So if you've liked the video, give it a massive thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, give us some comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one. So stay safe, see you soon.